What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking. What's up, everyone? It's another episode of Next Level Thinking, where we have people inspired to take it to that next level and just execute. Today, I have a special guest by the name of
Colton. What's up, y'all?
And I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. So tell the audience who you are and what you're all about.
Yeah, so my name's Colton. You can find me on Instagram at Insta with Colton, or on Facebook. I just got back on Facebook, Colton Lee, or you can find me on Twitter, Colton Can Do It. Looking to starting up a YouTube page, but just my whole mission with everything is just to help people around the world grow their businesses by growing their awareness.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that because, everybody wants to get the people's attention. And I think the most common question, obstacle people come up like how to do it. We have all these platforms.
If I don't have your attention, I can't help you out. If I have a product or a service, or, if I'm just providing value, all the listeners that are listening in on this podcast, it's just incredible the time we live in that you can just listen to this via phone, via tablet, or on YouTube, wherever platform it could be shared on. And so it's just, trying to basically get that reach through internet and digital space versus waiting to do it local.
Exactly, because we're not like in the Stone Ages where we had to wait for the mailman just to deliver a message and then they got to get everything written out and then another just drag time. It's like all instant.
Yeah. It's just an incredible time we live in that, you can message anyone in the world, find what they like via hashtags. If they follow some big page that you're trying to target, you can find out that following is into that kind of stuff that page is posting. So once you kind of know that market, then you want to go out there and just provide value and really help them out. I guess small story short is basic, or big story, tell it in a short minute, is that I came from a small town, population about 472.
Oh man!
And I grew up farming, and I guess just growing up on a farm, I learned real early to be resourceful. So I took that on as I left my small town and went to college. And I was telling Chris about this, is that it's crazy that when I got to college, I didn't really think that I could farm in college and go back and forth. And so I was like, well, what does everybody like to do? And everybody likes to party,
right?
It's like, well, I got to figure out how I can make a job around what everybody's doing, and supply and demand. I become a DJ. When I was at college, I just basically learned that whole entertainment scene structure and built up kind of like an entertainment little company, I guess. Wasn't really written down in paper, legal, all cash, but really hustled my way through college with a lot of friends, and got out of college and was like, okay, how am I going to be able to do DJing afterwards, and kind of saw that whole digital space and how I leveraged myself through that. I could help other businesses as well.
And let me go ahead and interrupt.
Go ahead.
And the one thing that I do admire is, like you said, you hustled your way through college. And a lot of times we have a lot of college students have this, I guess, a stereotype of basically a broke college student. But you can pretty much overcome that if you just change your mentality.
Right.
And strive through. Being to the point where you're constantly learning,
not that you're trying to, be better than someone. It's never a competition idea. It's more of like, I just want to challenge myself. Mm-hmm. And through these challenges, you take on new learnings. You constantly fail. I think that's one thing that people are scared to do.
I think a lot of people are afraid to fail because it's probably one of the biggest ones, because I always like, what if? All right, my friends going to judge me, my parents going to judge me, my professor, and then whoever, like whatever's in their head, it just becomes that big wall they got to overcome. And are they just afraid to fail? But
what is the complete? The complete opposite is that I stick it out, and then it actually works and becomes great, and then now they admire me.
Exactly.
So you got to understand that criticism, you need to take that as fuel and turn that into admiration later on. Not just because, you're trying to get your haters to love you, but, you basically think that of your haters are people that, just don't understand the concept of your vision. They don't understand your purpose. They don't understand your why. Everyone's different. Everyone's like has their own kind of goal and stuff. So when your goals don't align with their goals, it's a problem. But it's not your problem. It's their problem that they don't understand.
And I definitely agree with that, because like anything that is different, because we all have our foundation of what we grew up from and things like that, and we adapt. But if it's something like you said different, we're not going to always understand it from the jump, because we're going like, okay, this is not what I was raised up on. Like, what direction are you coming from? And because of that, we naturally would be like, okay, that's impossible, because we don't understand that person's vision, like you said, and passion, purpose, and things like that. It's up to that person who has that vision to deliver it. But, they have to overcome the obstacles. That's like their building stages.
Yes, exactly. And I think looking back, once you kind of understand that self-awareness, you take a step back and you're like, okay, I'm at this age, I'm at this point in my life. And you realize that, man, I really only got one shot. I can't basically go back 10 years ago and redo an experience. Mm. So we're always moving forward. And once you have that mindset, then you have to reflect on yourself and say, look, I know that I'm not making much change now, because some people lose that motivation, that drive. They try to start a business and 3 months later it didn't work. Well, you only did it for 3 months.
Exactly.
So, once you have that constant failure, that adaptation, that learning, that experience, you start understanding that, man, in life, if I really work towards something, I'll get something out of it, versus, let me try it, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to go do whatever I got else to do, which, like I said, people find different roads through life, and, I think from being on the farm to now doing stuff on my phone, having my phone as being my, office, where I can be anywhere I want.
Exactly.
And that's just, that's just an incredible transition, and that's through my lifetime. So,
and it's extremely crazy, because everybody used to go into the office and all these other the foundation, and now with all the technology and the smartphones, it's like you don't have to actually see this person face to face. You can actually see this person through FaceTime. You can deliver that message. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. You can have contact with people from out the country because of just using your phone.
Exactly. Like this podcast we're on right now, this is merely just a phone call, me tapping in and reaching out to the audience, sharing the value, and that's through not us meeting up at an office or meeting up at a radio station. All this is done via the tools we have.
Exactly. It's almost to the point where you have no excuse to get things done. It's all about your mentality. It's execution.
Well, a great thing is, I was watching a little bit of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was saying that, everybody that has a smartphone is now their own media marketing public relations agency.
Nice spin to it.
And he was just saying that, if you really want to build something, you can download all the different channels like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Each has its own conversation of, or the way that you would communicate on that platform. But, at the end of the day, you're reaching out deep and wide, and you're really, just kind of going out in that space, and people kind of get, when they're building their brand and building anything on the social space, they feel like it's kind of hard because, they're 3 months in and they're only getting 3 people to like their stuff, or 10 likes per picture or something like that, or no one's really retweeting them or sharing their Facebook. And it's because they just simply don't know about you. And the reason why I say that is because most people that start up something online are probably online maybe 3 hours, 4 hours a day, creating content, thinking about the caption, putting out a message. And is that message a strategic, play that you would put down, as in directing someone to go to your product, service, give you a call, set up that appointment? How captivating is that? So good content, really, just really thinking about the caption, message, and then just, being there for people. But not only that, don't wait for people. So that's another
that's
big
a
thing
big
with social
one.
media.
That's
people
big.
are waiting to be found. So I guess my advice would be stop waiting and start going to the market, and finding these people. And it's up to them, you got to communicate with your market, and it's up to them to communicate back. So, next time you're on social media spending like 3 to 4 hours a day, instead of doing stuff so much about me, go out there and start communicating with people, helping them, finding out what their problems are and how you can be a solution. So I guess that ties it back to the story of me in college, is that, that I saw everyone basically partying. I became a DJ. And then now, like, I'm out there in the world past college, and I'm like, I can really help any business out with their biggest problem, which is obscurity.
And I really like how you pretty much put that in of like how you're helping people know their problem and offering a solution. And a lot of times when you're offering or trying to reach out to new markets and et cetera like that, you may have the solution to their problem, but they have to see that. And you got to help them understand what their problem is. And once they understand what the problem is, then they'll be more, inclined to, let's do business, like let's network or let's do something together, because now they understand where you're coming from.
Right, exactly. And the more people you help, the more you hear objections. And that goes into my next thing about, actually really pushing, starting up your own business or product or whatever it may be. You're going to hear objections. And the reason why they're going to give you objections is because they don't know you.
Exactly.
And so if someone doesn't know you, they don't even know you exist. So how can they buy from you? So you can't say nothing doesn't work because they don't simply know about you.
And here's the funny thing I want to add into it too, is like, I hear a lot of times like people buy from people that they like. So if they don't know you, they don't really have, I guess, a strong enough reason to buy something from you. But it's like, but if you think like all the celebrities that's well known, let's say from Steve Harvey, Damon John, Gary V, they like the person first, and they receive a great amount of value. And because they like that person so much, they're like, oh, I want to support this person because this person's doing great things. And that's how they pretty much lock in sales.
Yeah. I mean, really just pushing out more than expecting, I'm not really, I guess for any of my online businesses, I'm not really trying to push a sale as so much as, providing the solution to that person's problem. So, if I have my, all my stuff drawn up for that business, if I have my proposal right, my audit right, and I've already done the research before I even got in contact with that client, that person that's on the phone with me or in front of me, they know that I came prepared. They know that I already know their problem. That's the reason why I'm there, and so I can provide that solution.
Exactly.
And after you look at it, it's just crazy to me that, that a lot of people, when they get out of college, or, I tell people that all the time that going to school for marketing or photo, doing some kind of design, is that crazy time we live in. You can basically start up an agency, and charge $100 a month, if you're feeling comfortable, or $500 if you feel like comfortable with that, work your way up, build that value. But let's say you have, $200 a month and you got 40 clients.
Exactly. And it adds up really quick with you, as long as you give them a tremendous amount of value through subscriptions. And if you look at a lot of entrepreneurs' business models, they have a lot of prescriptions, like where they give people a tremendous amount of value. I mean, I believe top of my head, like you have Grant Cardone, he has his university. Damon John has his subscriptions. Gary V, I think he's doing something like Triple D or something like that. All the great entrepreneurs that are succeeding, like past all expectations, they have some kind of tremendous amount of value they give through subscriptions, and it actually changes the person's life.
Exactly, and it's great because the content that they're speaking on these courses are going to be relevant to what you're seeing today. A lot of the textbooks in colleges and stuff, they're selling them for $200, $300, but to make that book is literally $6.
Exactly.
So the profits on that is crazy, but also, instead of spending $200 on an outdated book that, probably published 3 years ago talking about marketing, and I remember when I was in college, there was like marketing books and business books that were talking about, just not even really social media, just like
Newspapers.
just doing like, make sure that everyone locally knows about you. We live in a time where you got to stop thinking local.
Bigger.
You got to start thinking global.
Yeah.
You got to take that level of thinking as in, what am I going to bring to the market, whether it be a product, a service, what am I passionate about? What do I feel like helps me that can help others?
Exactly.
Once you kind of have that mindset is, I guess that's when, a whole change in, thinking happens and, and then it's like, well, okay, what am I going to do to get it done? With a lot of people out there in the world, if I don't convince my friends, if I don't convince my family, then, then if they're not sold on it, then I'm not sold on it. Like, stop thinking about what everyone else thinks. They got their own purpose. They just haven't found it yet. So they're criticizing you.
Exactly. Now, next question I want to hit on, because we actually covered a very lot. That's like Corian, is what's the top 3 things that you believe that make an entrepreneur? Go.
I would say they have to be driven. They have to really look at it as like, what am I going to do, now, so that will pay off later. It's those daily investments, being driven, having that passion. I guess passion would be number 2, actually knowing what's making you get up early in the morning, going to bed late, making those phone calls, meeting up, showing up, just kind of get in contact. Let people know that, look, like people become long-term customers with people because they trust them. So I feel like building that trust, number 3. So you have to be driven, you have to be passionate, and you have to build up that trust just because you're building a lifelong brand.
Exactly.
You want to be able to be known when, you see someone at the grocery store, they're like, hey, appreciate you reaching out for me, or reaching out to me and coming by my pizza place, made an extra $20,000 this month because we ran that promotion that you recommended, and we just started doing this, and now we're kind of getting a new franchise. You want to hear, when you meet someone, don't you want to hear good news?
Yes.
Like, so, you got to stop thinking as in like, well, man, like what can I do to make this person, just really exponentially grow whatever it is they're doing. And I guess from anything, entrepreneur is just there to solve problems. You got to be a problem solver. You got to be resourceful. What am I going to do to solve that problem? What am I going to, even if you have to outsource,
Exactly.
So you just got to make sure that, in business, you're always basically trying to make money. So don't make, as an entrepreneur, I feel like there's a lot of people that, they're part of like a network marketing, they're somewhat of a contract worker or something, do graphic design, something like that, and start their LLC, and then all of a sudden they put entrepreneur in their bio. But entrepreneur is not really and that's like, it describes someone that's kind of self-employed doing their own thing, but don't even put a label on yourself. I feel like everyone should be more of like, I'm not actually here in physical form, but my soul, I need to make sure that, I'm sharing that energy and just being the best person I can be. And through that, you help a lot of people. In return, they help you back.
Exactly.
So instead
good.
of waiting for people to, for them to find out about you so you can help them, go out there and help them. Like, and you're going to hear people that just don't want help. Oh, no, I'll do it on my own. Entrepreneurs, there's a lot of people that are cynical. A lot of people that are, like, no, if it's not my way, then, it's not right.
And that will leave you behind because you're being closed-minded to somebody can actually give you a tremendous amount of value. And one thing I got to also add to everything, great things you said, is when you're doing, this drive and all that much more, you're going to have to get in your mind that you're going to have to do the things you're not feeling up to do. Like, example, like you got to make the calls. Everybody's, a lot of times I hear from stories from people doing business like, oh, I don't feel like doing the calls. Well, if you want this business to be taken up, you want to start making these calls. Or I don't feel like going to these events. Well, you got to go to this event.
Right. So if you don't call them, then they can't trust you. It's like meeting someone, and they say, let's be friends. And you're like, all right. And your friend one day, and then they give you their number, and then next day you text them and they don't text you back. You call them, they don't call you back. Like, that can still be your friend?
No.
So, I mean, that's just common sense and human nature. And a lot of people don't want to do those follow-ups. They don't want to make that initial call because they're scared that they're going to ruin it. But they're going to ruin it because they never made calls.
Exactly.
So how many calls are you making would solve that? And then from there, it leads to showing up. If you're going to networking events, I'm sure you're going to build up a network.
Yep.
If you stay at home and lock the door, no one even knows you exist. So, there's stuff that you can do on social, but as a business or as yourself to just get in touch with people, you always want to look at those people that got something that you want and try to figure out how you can arrange to be around that or see it in person, or just watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos. If you can't get in touch, with billionaires, like figure out what you can read about from them. Sam Walton, a guy that started Walmart, he has like a family trust fund of like 170 billion, just 175 billion. But what he was saying is that people don't want to go through humility. People don't want to feel like they're, humiliated. That's like a human fear.
Mm-hmm.
Probably from a young age. And then now as they get older, it just gets worse and worse. People feel like, think about it, everywhere you go, people are insecure about something instead of embracing that they're unique. But if you look at humility, like with Sam Walton, he went down to Brazil when he first started up Walmart, and he went down to Brazil and he was at this grocery store, and he got down on his knees and started measuring the aisles. And people were looking at him, thinking that he was strange, thinking like, what is he doing, whatever. He was so caught up on the concept that the spacing on their aisles was just the right amount of spacing where a car can go this way and a car can go that way. And, it was just perfect height and the way they had the products placed on it. And so basically, it's just crazy because he knew more about the competition or the market than his competition knew about their it's all about market research. Once you got the data, then you can go out there and, supply what is, needed. So that just goes to any business. I feel like that's kind of like that mindset is just don't get in the car and drive, but get in the car and know the destination.
Oh, that's a nice quote right there. You may want to write that down. With that said, any closing remarks before you wrap this up? I'll have to have you on another episode because I'm pretty sure you got a lot more.
Yeah, man, this will have to continue up. We can, I feel like there's a lot of great questions. I appreciate you for having me on this podcast. I think, it's just up and up from here because more people are going to, listen in and just, a community where people are no longer have to listen to the radio where, hey, look, so-and-so did this, or hey, so-and-so got shot. We're all here in the community thinking about like, hey, how are we going to better ourselves? How are we going to provide for our families? How are we going to set up that legacy?
Exactly.
So, like I said, man, it's really pleasure. Thanks for having me on here.
No problem.
And, it's just crazy to think that 2018, we're like at the early stages of the 2000s. 1918, they were telling the horses like, look, get off the road. And they started bringing in the cars. So look at the cell phone, the internet like that. Once you kind of think about that whole change, the way business is done, the way currency is handled, the way a lot of things will be done. So that big change like that, I feel like it's only going to happen the same way. And those people that are already making up those services, people that are already taking into effect, the internet and the possibilities, they'll be those early people that are, setting up a great service or to the marketplace.
Definitely agree. And it's always about, always about moving forward. Got to stay consistent, adapt, because things are going to change no matter what you think is either get with the program or get left behind. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's definitely been a pleasure. You dropped a lot of dimes. I feel like we were actually doing a course load right there. We're probably doing a seminar.
Man, for sure. We got to get some kind of course or something, going. I'm in the process of putting up a course myself, but I feel like, just always providing knowledge and always letting other people know that, that it is possible. That's the main message.
Yep, that's the main message. So, again, your host, Chris Holmes. I have my special guest by the name of...
What's up, guys? Colton.
And take it to the next level, and don't let all these words just settle. Take these words and execute. All right, we out. Peace.